was a dude down there, you know, he was like a big bully there. So I guess that they was plotting on me, you know, to try to get a name off of me because they heard that I was real good with my hands on the streets, you know. So he has sent me like a little contract trying to extort me, saying he wanted me to give him all my lunch trays. You know what I'm saying? Like he like trying to extort me. So I wasn't going for that. So I'm like, man, hell nah. I ripped the paper up. Yeah, my name T.O. You know, you got T.O. I did time federal prison. 2 different bids in a federal prison. I went to the feds from DC jail. And then before that, I caught cases in Prince George's County, went to Upper Marlboro County Jail. I done time as a juvenile, 16 till I was 18, in Boys Village, Sheltonham facility. So you know, I've been in and out pretty much.
Yeah, you've been around the way. Sound
Yeah,
like your life been hard. I ain't gonna lie. But let's get into it. What was your childhood like?
My childhood, it was kind of good. You know, I had good parents, you know, grandparents, stuff like that. But you know, the area that I come from, you know, just adapt to your environment. So you know, I started getting in trouble. You know, I was boxing since I was 11, but messed my career up going in and out of jail, you know, dealing with the streets and stuff like that, you know. Some guys from my neighborhood had, you know, did what they did in the curry out, you know, Chinese food restaurant. And you know, somebody got robbed, you know, they was fighting for the gun and stuff like that. So unbeknown to me and my 2 friends comes in the curry out right after the crime had happened. So when we leave out the curry out, about 12 Prince George's County police cars swarmed us. You know, put your hands up. You know, all that, you know, they locked us up. And one of my friends, it was 3 of us. One of my friends had got released. But me and my other man, we ended up staying. He ended up doing, I think, 16 or 17 months. And I ended up doing 24 months.
Damn. So that was your first time getting locked up, right?
Yep, that's my first time ever getting locked up.
So what was it like, you know, first entering in jail? Were you scared, nervous?
Yeah, you know, I believe everybody nervous first time, something like that. You know, if you say you don't feel that, then something not right. You know what I'm saying? So me going through that my first time, you know what I'm saying? You know, jail different from the street. So I was kind of nervous, you know, worried about what could happen, what can go wrong, you know.
Yeah. How long were you in there?
I was in there for 24 months.
That first time?
Yep, first time, 24 months.
Damn. So you must have a couple of stories. What you see in there as a young person being in there?
Man, it was bad down there, man. You know, you had to be tough, you know. So being as though, you know, I grew up boxing, I was always small though. So, you know, dudes try to try me down there because I was small, you know, but I grew up boxing, so I had to, you know, just show my heart. But I done seen a dude get a TV thrown on top of his head down there. I done seen dudes get hit with a soap bars in a sock, you know, all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I seen it out down there.
The soap in the sock and like the fan motor in the sock, that's basically a mace, like what they used in the medieval, you know, with the ball and the chains.
Absolutely.
That shit's dangerous, yo.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Did you get it? Did you get into any altercations?
Yeah, I got in a couple altercations. One time we was in the shower. And when we, you know, when you in the shower down there, it's probably, I think it's about 8 people to a shower. There's about 8 or 7 showers wrapped around. So, you know, being as though I was new on the tier, you know, it was my first time being down there. So it was like a bully dude on the block. He was real big for his age. You know what I'm saying? And I was hearing word going around that he was supposed to do something to me because I ain't agree, you know, to get him my lunch trays when he was trying to extort me, so-called extort me. So being as though I had the knowledge of him supposed to do something to me, when we came off of lockdown, I went straight at him. We started fighting. I got out on him.
You said he wrote you a kite.
Yeah, he had wrote me a kite. You know, saying like, you know, basically like, you know, I need early lunch tray coming to me. You know what I'm saying? And I ripped it up. Like, man, you know, I ain't going for that. You know what I'm saying? So You know, a couple dudes I know from the streets were telling me like, man, he planning on making a move on you when we come out after the count. So as soon as we came out, we got in the day earlier. I went straight at him, just started swinging on him. We was fighting, you know what I'm saying? I was slipping a couple punches, got him up out of there.
Yeah, you know, stuff like that happens. You know, prisons, jail is a whole different world in there.
Absolutely,
You know?
whole different ball game.
I had that same exact thing happen to me. You know, I had somebody send me a kite talking about I gotta pay them because of a beef we had on the outside. Right. I was in that same predicament.
Yeah. Yeah, so you know.
I know. I got jumped. I got my jaw broken, I had to go to the hospital and everything.
Yeah. That come with the territory, you know.
Yeah, so what is it?
As long as you got that warrior mentality, you know, that's all that matters.
So for the people that just watch this for entertainment, can you tell them what type of people really be in jail? Like the predators?
Oh man, you got, you got sex offenders in there. You know, you got gang members. You got the Muslims. You know, you got different cars, you know, DC car, you know, Cali, North Carolina, Florida. You know, you got violent dudes. Some dudes just like to sell drugs. Some dudes like to get high. Some dudes like to be on religion. You know, you got all different type of, you know, genres in there, I should say.
Yeah, you know, we're talking about jail now, right?
Yep.
All right. What was your least favorite tray in there?
My least favorite food tray in the feds.
You can do jail and feds. Do different if you can remember.
Over DC jail, the worst tray for me would be shingles and grits in the morning. That's a tray I hated. That looked like garbage. You know what I'm saying? In the feds, I ain't really had the worst tray in the feds probably was goulash. Everything else was pretty good.
For somebody that doesn't know, what's the difference between the feds and doing state time?
State time is basically like it's where you at waiting to get your sentence. You know what I'm saying? As far as, you know, Maryland and DC goes, you know what I'm saying? When I did time up in Marlboro, it was kind of different. Like it's more like of a county, but in the feds, it's a whole completely different ball game. You know, you got cars, so when you get there, you got to go to who your car is. Like wherever you from, that's who you with, and that's who you know mingle with, and that's who you sit with in the cafeteria, things like that. In the feds, it's more like, you know, stabbings and stuff like that going on, you know?
Who did you run with?
I was in the DC car. Yeah.
That's in the feds. What about when you was in regular jail?
When I was in the regular jail, which was DC jail, Upper Marlboro, you know, it's pretty every man for themselves. You know, it's no cars, it's more neighborhoods, like where you from.
Interviewed anybody that did time in the DC jail. Can you describe some of the crazy things you've seen in there?
Oh, DC jail is crazy. DC jail, that's the most craziest jail I've been to. Like the feds, from what I've seen in the feds, because I haven't been in penitentiaries in the feds, I've been at FCIs, which was like medium prison. So, you know, things go on, but it's kind of rare for, you know, stabbings to take place that much. But even though it do happen, but DC jail is crazy. I'm talking about stabbings every day. Stabbings every day. You will catch a fight here and there. But for the most part, it's just straight stabbings going on for, you know, neighborhood beefs that's going on the streets. They take it to the jail, and, you know, there's no guns there, so all you got is, you know, a knife or your fist. Yeah.
Did you ever see somebody get disrespected?
Hell yeah.
And humiliated?
I seen a lot of dudes get disrespected. I seen dudes get slapped out, don't do nothing. You know, I seen dudes, you know, get their commissary took. Every time they get their commissary bag, it don't even come to them. It go to somebody else. I just seen dudes can't use the phone, all type of stuff over there.
Yeah, I remember when I was in jail, the phone had a line, and the gangs ran the phones.
The who ran the phones?
The gangs.
Oh, the gang. Oh yeah. It's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, like it was like you couldn't touch a phone. You couldn't touch it. You had to ask permission. Yeah, sometimes you would have to pay somebody to get on the phone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, can you describe the gang situation? How are the gangs in there?
The gangs out the feds is pretty much, you know, you got the Bloods, you know, you got Latin Kings, the Serranos, You know what I'm saying? You know, you got Crips, you know what I'm saying? And the gangs pretty much stick together. Like, they stick to, especially, you know, the Mexicans, they sticks together. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
They stick together like no other. Like, they got the best, to me, in my opinion, I think, you know, the Mexican Serranos and stuff like that, they got the best structure in federal prison, because they stick together, and you get into it with one, you got to see all. That's just how it is.
I ain't gonna lie, when I was in there, the BGF, the Bloods, the Crips, they did not mess with the Spanish MS-13. They did not mess with them at all.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna take it all the way.
Every time they take it all the way.
And they ain't just gonna like stab you in the shoulder or in the arm. They gonna try to decapitate
they
you.
gut you. They gut you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the worst fight you saw? Can you describe it?
The worst fight I saw. The worst fight I saw was 2 New Jersey guys beat up one of my homies, a DC guy. And the reason why nobody jumped in it or, you know, back the DC homie play is because he was in the wrong. You know, we only willing to go there if it's righteous. We not going behind no disrespect. If you disrespect another man, then you got to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? So the situation was, the 2 New Jersey guys was up in the morning praying, you know, fathers, you know, they Muslims. So I guess the older DC homie, he heard them praying through his vent, and it woke him up, and he woke up mad. You know, he was like a grumpy older guy. So he came out his cell, you know, the New Jersey Muslim dudes, they was cleaning their cell. They was done praying by then. So, you know, they had their shoes and stuff outside the cell. You know, when you clean your cell, you put everything outside the cell for you to, you know, mop it and stuff like that. So the older DC homie came out, you know, was like, y'all doing that praying stuff early in the morning. You know, he was grumpy. You know, he kicked their shoes out the way. So one of the New Jersey guys was like, damn, why you kicking our shoes out the way? You know what I'm saying? So the older DC homie was like, you know, basically like, you know, F y'all. So, you know, they had words back and forth. So the older DC homie was like, you know, I smack you. So the New Jersey guy was like, you gonna smack me? So he tried to smack him. But the New Jersey guy, you know, leaned back. So he missed when he tried to smack him. They started rumbling. The New Jersey guy knocked DC homie out. The older New Jersey guy ran up there and started helping him. They beat him so bad, the helicopter had to fly on the compound and fly him out. They were saying that he was in like critical condition. So they beat him real bad. He was in critical condition for probably about 3 months. After that 3 months was up, the DC homie ended up seeing the parole board, and they felt so bad for his condition that they ended up releasing him. They beat him bad. It looked like you would have thought that he got stabbed the way he was so bloody, but he didn't even get stabbed. They just beat him.
And they just released him from prison.
Yeah. He seen the parole board. They released him. He been down for probably about 26 years at the time.
Man, you know, that's all I had to do with respect. How important is respect inside?
Respect is everything. Like, you know, especially in a federal prison, like manners, you know, your mannerisms, you know, being respectful, knowing how to say excuse me, you know, stuff like that. You know, minding your business, not gossiping, you know, just respect is everything in federal prison.
Yeah. What would you say to somebody young that's following like our footsteps coming into the system? What kind of advice would you give them?
Be able to stand on what you signed up for. You know what I'm saying? And if you can, don't choose this type of lifestyle. You know, choose to do something else. You know, whether it's play sports, whether it's, you know, work a 9 to 5. You know, just try to do something positive, because the streets come with a lot of hardships. You know, that's all it comes with, hardships. You know, you're going to eventually end up going to jail, if not death. That's the 2 ways out. It's nothing else.
Yeah. Did you witness death in there? Did you see anybody die?
No, I never seen nobody die. Just seen a lot of horrific stabbings.
But it can happen.
People could have died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like you can die at any moment.
Moment.
So what happens when somebody does get attacked and stabbed? What happens?
somebody get attacked and stabbed, you know, being as though whatever the situation is, you know, the cars is gonna crash with each other. Like, it don't just end there. So say I'm gonna just use any state for its distance. For example, like say like a Florida guy gets into it with a New York guy, and something go on. It doesn't just end there. So now all the Florida guy homies is gonna be trying to see, you know, that car. So it's gonna be like a whole ride that breaks out car on car. Whether they stabbing each other or they fighting, it don't just end there. Both homies is going to just crash out on each other.
So it's like, you know, when you do something, you got to think of the bigger picture, because your actions have consequences for everybody else.
Yep, it reflects on everybody else.
How's that make you feel, like, you know, having to risk your freedom and getting out over somebody else's situation?
That was one of the worst things for me in there, like, because, you know, a lot of my homies, you know, a lot of DC homies, you know, they hot-headed. You know, we got a lot of aggressive dudes that come from this area, right? So it'd be like, you know, they might get into it about something small, and the DC dude never willing to let it go. You know, they be ready to crash right then and there, and it'd be like, I gotta ride with my homies, knowing I get out in 7 months, or knowing I get out in the next 11 or 13 months. So it'd be like, you know, it's just a messed up situation, because you ride with your homies, you go to the hole, you know, the DHO, they take some of your good days from you, so now your date getting pushed back. Every time you get into it and something happens, your date getting pushed back, keeping you long away from your family because somebody else's action. So, you know, that's a bad thing.
Yeah. Did you have support while you were in there?
Absolutely. I had support. I had, you know, a couple family members, you know, of course, a couple girls, you know what I'm saying? Family is very important, you know, when you incarcerated. It's important to have a good support system, you know. So that's why I wouldn't advise nobody to burn their bridges with their loved ones while they out here on the streets, because it get hard back there, you know what I'm saying? And it's hard to do hard time without having support.
Yeah. Did you see people that didn't have support?
Absolutely. I seen a lot of guys, you know, don't have no family. A lot of their family probably died, or they wasn't good dudes when they was home, so people just leave them to hang and dry, you know what I'm saying?
What about the drug situation inside?
Oh man, K2, weed. It's a lot of drugs floating around in there.
Suboxone.
Suboxone, absolutely.
They call that at 3.
Yep.
Did you see people like what did it do to people? Did it, like, that's all they thought about is drugs?
Yeah, you know, some people never smoked. I done seen dudes never smoke K2 a day in their life on the streets, come to jail smoking for the first time and get strung out on it. So when they come out for rec, that's the only thing they think about is they next high. They chasing K2, or some dudes was on dope or Percocets on the streets, and they get in there and get strung out on Suboxone because they need it. If they don't get it, they get ill, real sick.
Yeah, you know, and I've seen a lot of them. You probably seen the same situations, but they will burn bridges with their family because they'll just be asked for money and make up stuff, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it gets crazy. That's one of the things I would tell people. Please don't get locked up and get on no habit in there, because it always ends bad.
It's bad.
Can you explain to the viewers, like a drug on the street and a drug in prison, the price range is way different?
Yeah, the price range is way different. Like, things is more expensive in there.
And smaller. And smaller.
Yeah, way smaller, but way more expensive. You know what I'm saying? You might get a ID paper, a K2, and that right there might cost you $325, something like that. You know what I'm saying? When you
on the street, man, somebody would get that away.
Absolutely. Yeah.